Check, check.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Love's in need of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, AM audience, FM audience. Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, YouTube. And anywhere else we are. I think that's it. I am really grateful for this great weather today because it has been cold. And I may as well get ready for it, but I'm just not ready for the cold. Not like some of you who love cold weather and love coats and love snow and all of that. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, but got to deal with it. I got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to catch you up on some things. Probably going to end the show talking about these 28 years of being here at the Bethel, True Bethel, as we celebrate our anniversary. Coming up this weekend, tomorrow. First time that I chose to have a birthday party, that I chose to celebrate all of these years of living and being on this earth. So we're going to talk about that probably to close out the show, tell some of the funny stories, tell some of the horror stories. People see where you're at and don't realize what you've had to go through to get there. So tell some of the hard stories, some of the hard knocks that we had to go through to get to this point of pastoring only one church for 28 years. One church, 28 years. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Interesting day today. Today the governor and the mayor announced the beginning of formation for a committee to erect a permanent memorial for the victims of the Tops massacre, and they have appointed Reverend Mark Blue, the president of the NAACP, to head that. Folks like Garnell Whitfield are on that committee, and some other folks, Larry Stitt, and some other folks are on that committee thus far. So it will be a combination funding from the city and from the state and from the private sector. There's also somebody on the board, on this committee from TOPS. And so it is going to be, Shugi, hi neighbor. And Shugi, I did get your announcement. It is going to be it is intended to be a world-class memorial. And I was looking at Black America Web, and they were talking about the monument, the Veterans Monument that is up in Buffalo, and how it's one of a kind. Buffalo is, I mean, it's coming on the map. I mean, for so many good things, and you hate to see so much attention to the negative. But I am glad that because a white supremacist has come through our town and was trying to take out as many black folks as he could, that we are known now as a city that kept it together, that didn't riot, and that memorial piece is going to be huge when you talk about tourism, especially, and respect. Because people still are coming into Buffalo, and if this is the first time they've been, they want to go to Tops. They want to go to Tops. They want to see and kind of experience. For some of them, that hurt, and I know that from when I went to Orlando and went to Pulse nightclub, and I wanted to stand on those grounds, and we did. And so I think that this is going to take millions of dollars to do, because you got to buy the land, number one, and hopefully whoever's selling the land, will be kind. You got to buy the land, then you have to come up with an idea. You got to hire an artist. You got to hire engineers and architects and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that it is very important that the community participates in that, and I'm sure there will be a period of time in which the community will be able to weigh in. Speaking of the community weighing in, the open period right now is open for you to weigh in on whether you think there should be an at-large member on the city council. And so I've been very clear that I have not, I don't have a yes or no as far as whether I think there should be. I think we should listen to people. It is the people's money. It is the people's representation. And as I explained to you before, at this point, there are no at-large members. Every council member is a district council member, so they are definitely beholden to the district. There's some concern from at least one of my colleagues, and I'm going to say this because just because somebody has a concern or they don't agree with you, that doesn't mean you're against them. That's government. So one of my colleagues is concerned because before, when they were at-large seats, basically no at-large came out of his district. And so his concern is, and I got that, I really do, and that's something you got to consider. His concern is, again, if there's an at-large member, obviously they live in the city of Buffalo. If they come out of Ellicott, now you got Ellicott representative. The at-large member is supposed to represent everybody. But will they be more beholden to Ellicott? It's a matter of who that person is, I guess, and who the people elect. Because I think because you're elected at large, then, North Buffalo is going to expect you to fight for them, and West Side is going to expect you to fight for them, and so on and on and on. So you can, where did it go? Do we know the website?
Yep. Those watching on video see the link on the screen, but for those listening, it is buffalony.gov/@large. And that's ATLARGE, at large.
I'm tearing this Reese cup up. I don't even eat sweets like that, but I had one because there's a little stash in the office, and then they bought me a whole bag.
It always starts with one.
Yeah, but I'm keeping this belly down. I am not playing. I went to the doctor the other day, and he said I might have sleep apnea. Now I know why I hate getting up in the morning. Mm-hmm. So I had the sleep study the other night, and I was so glad that I didn't have to stay at the hospital, because that's weird. I don't want to sleep in somebody else's bed knowing somebody can listen to you. But they send you home with this sleep study thing. You got to You have to put it around your chest, put it around your stomach, stick it in your nose. Portion of it is in your mouth, an armband on your arm, a finger thing to measure your oxygen or whatever on your finger, and you got to sleep with that. Well, of course, I'm not going to sleep well. I mean, you turn this way and you get pinched by this and you turn that way. So I am really still sleepy from the sleep study 2 days ago. So I'm going to go home and take a nap in a minute. I am still sleepy from a sleep study, so I don't know what it's going to show. It's probably going to be like, you didn't sleep half the night. Well, no, I'm tied up with all this stuff on me. But yeah, so I'm a little tired. Had a great Ellicott District stakeholders meeting the other day. Commissioners came out, police were out, citizens came out, and we had it at the Dorothy Collier Center, or as many of you know, Friends of the Elderly, on East Utica. I have never been thanked that much for having something at a certain location, and that's from the community. Who were like, thank you for using this center. Thank you for coming on East Utica. Thank you. And I want to thank those folks from the Dorothy Collier Center. We are going to be making from the Ellicott District a rather large, for our money, investment so that they can continue programming there and they can continue serving our community. I want to see, more stuff going on with youth there, but it's very difficult when you don't have the money. And they are right now operating with an executive director who, because our block grant money has been cut, they're suffering a cut right now, and so we want to fund that center a little bit more so that they can do more, and especially with our seniors and with our youth. But it was good. I want to bring up about speed bumps today a little bit because there are some streets who want it, because what I'm getting is calls of, why don't we have it? Well, because in Buffalo and probably all over, you're danged if you do, danged if you don't. When they were putting them out on streets, you had some people complaining very loudly. We don't want these on our streets. Why? And then some I agree with, where they were like, well, why would you put on a speed bump and it's a pothole on the other side? That's just dumb. I agree. That's just dumb. But now Public Works has a process. So if you want a speed bump on your street, you can call in to Public Works in the city of Buffalo and request one, and they will send out on your street notification if your street is eligible. Now, every street can't get, there's certain streets that cannot, and certain streets that just should not. You got a street with, 4 houses and it's a dead end, you probably ain't getting no speed bump, okay? If you live on a major thoroughfare, there's not going to be a speed hump. You can't. There's certain places where they can't. But they will send out a survey. That's a yes or no survey to all of your neighbors. And if 75% of your neighbors say yes, they'll consider you for the next round. And I think they already got next year's already lined up. But for the year after that, because believe me, speeders are going nowhere. And because before, when they would get a request from 1 or 2 people on the street, and then you had people going, well, nobody asked me, and where did this come from? So they to their credit, they have changed the process. And it's a better process because it does involve the neighbors. And so that is so important. Sandra Scruggs, I'm all over the place, says, I never slept more than 20 minutes during my one of the 5 I had done. Well, Sandra, we probably in the same boat, because when I tell you right now, I'm on my 2nd cup of coffee. I ate the Reese's for the sugar content, and I understand. So speed humps, call Public Works, and or you can, what's better to me, few of y'all get together and write a letter and send it, so you have a paper trail, or send an email, and with which neighbors are asking for it. That way you have a paper trail. Nobody can say we didn't get the call. So yeah.
And there's an application online.
It's right online. They go to the city. So that's better. Just do all of them. Do everything I'm telling you. Trust me. Do everything I'm telling you. The application that Mark just talked about, send an email. Like in government or like in any business, squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you can organize as much as you can in advance, it always helps, because there's always somebody on the street who like, I don't want it. Well, I wish I can get it on Northampton. I hope my neighbors want it, because a guy went down Northampton so fast yesterday. I'm not kidding you. It was like he was racing. Yes, he was in a Charger, and yes, I saw him. I thought, why? Like, why? There's certain things you just go, come on. If you buy a high-speed car like that and you want to race it up and down, why go over to an industrial area? First of all, it's not good to do it at all, because I buried people who thought that was cute and something ran out in the street and they've run out off the road and killed themselves. But why not go to an industrial area on a weekend when it's closed and it's just wide roads, or go out in rural? But to go down city streets at 80 and 90 miles an hour, I'm sorry, folks, that's rather ignorant. Now, you can be mad at me for using that phrase, but you are putting your own life in danger, and you are putting other people's lives in danger. And it only takes one person, one kid, to run out in that street, and you hit them, then you're going to be looking all sad on the news and looking down, and it's just ridiculous. Some things are just ridiculous. And this speeding up and down our streets, and like I said, and big ups to Councilmember Wyatt, because he was the first one to ask for speed humps years ago. And we were told that they couldn't. It was illegal. You couldn't do them. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We got them. So now with the people complaining about them, unfortunately, you want to complain about something? How about complain about the people who are speeding up and down your streets? Complain about that. How about getting I know y'all don't snitch, you don't tell, but you want to be mad at trying to prevent somebody from going down your street at 80 miles an hour so that we preserve life, but you're not mad at the person driving it? Come on. Some things you just got to go, like, get a grip. Just stop it. Okay, I talked about that. Here's the next thing. The mother of George Floyd is threatening to sue Kanye West. Because Kanye basically said that the officer's knee wasn't even on George Floyd's neck.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you didn't hear about this?
Nope.
Oh, yes. So glad to be able to bring you the news. Yes.
Yes, please.
So he went off saying that let me get it. Let me get what they call him, the Yee? Do they call him Yee or something? Yay. So he has a cease and desist letter. In his interview with Drink Champs, the billionaire rapper claimed that Floyd died of fentanyl and not by former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, saying, when you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that.
Wow.
I know he's dealing with some stuff. In the head. I know that. I'm positive of that, and he's admitted it. So this is no disrespect to his mental illness, but to even say that as an African American man.
Wow.
So the family is threatening to sue him for $250 million. They have sent him a cease and desist letter from their attorney, from the Witherspoon Law Group. That's a big deal. Even Howard Stern is coming out against Yee. Yay? Mm-hmm. Yay, Yee. About to say something I couldn't take back. Yay, Yee, whoever he is, shame on you. Shame on you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Sharon Patterson-White says Kanye has a mental problem. I agree. Chucky says, I'm sick of him. I've been trying to be real patient with the guy, especially with the illness that he has. But you got to realize, when you got that much money, and he's buying a some leftist media platform, probably to put his president on it. But you just gotta say foul when it's foul, and that's just foul, period. I don't care what you say, it is foul. I don't know if you heard Pastor Jimmy Hardaway of Trinity Baptist Church in Niagara Falls and Bishop Boyd here in Buffalo have filed a lawsuit against New York State on October 13th over its ban of carrying concealed weapons in a place of worship, citing the murders of nine people at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Hardaway said he carried a gun in his church for self-defense prior to the state ban. Well, a judge yesterday, Judge Sinatra, basically is allowing and you to be churches that portion to be on hold. So that's pending. I mean, you can carry it this week. We don't know what's going to happen next week. I did talk to Pastor Hardaway on yesterday and on the day that he called to tell me that. But we also talked about the editorial in the Buffalo News about this. Now, let me say this. People can write whatever they want to write, because basically the editorial talks about, guns and churches don't mix. I'm going to say it again. The editorial talks about the shame of it and, we shouldn't have to bring guns to church. I want to know who over there wrote it, because obviously they ain't been to a mosque, a church, a synagogue.
Yep.
Because that's where these evil people target. And how many times have we seen shootings in church? And what just kind of melts my butter is that I'm sorry I'm going here, but I am going here. When it's now you have two African Americans saying basically, even if they don't carry, you got to remember this law did not allow even our security to be able to carry. So at the end of the day, why is it now a shame that we got to have a gun in church? But I ain't never seen any editorial saying it was a shame that the Vatican has armed security. I ain't never seen anything saying it's a shame that the Pope got to ride in an armored car. I ain't never seen no editorial, it's a shame that he has armed guards around him. Y'all get my drift? I have never seen it a shame that I ain't never seen him write about Joel Osteen's security, anything else. But when it comes to the fact of us, it's a shame that we got to have. Come on, stop it. Stop. This mass shooter that yep, he can sue me. Yep, the white supremacist mass shooter was going around looking at churches. Did they miss that part, that he was going around looking at churches? I just don't believe whoever wrote the editorial this week in the Buffalo News has ever been to a black church, and I bet you they don't go to black churches. And it's not just about black churches, but it incenses me that when, most African-American churches are not mega churches. Most churches have 100 people or less in it. Mm-hmm. They don't have a police officer in it. They don't have a security guard in it. So if somebody is carrying to, and y'all know, everybody know, I'm a proponent of the legal right to carry a weapon. I am a proponent. If you in your right mind, yes, because why should I just, the criminals got it, I can't carry it? Come on. So what were you about to say, Mark?
I was going to say, and comedians have been saying it, and it's really playing out in front of us that if you wanted to pass gun legislation, let black people start applying. And it's kind of like you said, as soon as we okay, we're going to get our guns, we're going to start protecting ourselves legally, we're going to protect our churches, we're going to protect our neighborhoods. Now everybody's like, whoa.
Right. We don't want that.
It's too much. Much. Now we got sweeping gun legislation that says you can get it, But we're gonna put more background checks, more.
But
this,
the only
which is
place you can carry it is in your house.
right.
You can get it, but don't carry it anywhere else. Katrina says, see, that's what I've been talking about. Sandra Scruggs says, you are right on. Why must we be sitting ducks at church ripe for the picking by evil people? Exactly.
Yep.
Come on. And what disappointed me, it's always like that. And you are totally right. When black people shoot black people, it's radio silence.
Yep.
When black people now are saying, oh, we ain't about to let no white supremacists come in and do the same thing. Because if you come in another grocery store, at least 5 of us going to be around packing.
Yep.
Legally. Mm-hmm. Legally. Now you can't do that? Now you can't do that? I agree. It feels like sitting ducks.
Yep.
So I ain't going to say, never going to say whether I carry. No, I do carry, but I'm never going to say where I carry, because that ain't your business. But I tell you what, and I don't want no felony on my record. I don't want nothing on my record. But I'd rather have an arrest record than a death certificate.
Absolutely.
Sharon Patterson says, I wonder who filed. I'm trying to get to some of these that I missed. So, yeah. So, Jimmy Hardaway, Larry Boyd, they filed. But now, it's like, oh, shame. I wish I could find. Let me see if I could find this editorial. Let me see if I can find this right quick. Because it ain't a shame. It's not a shame. We trying to protect. We got to protect our babies. We got to protect so much. Protect our elderly. You just don't get it. Just don't get it. Hold on. Let me read y'all this. It's easy to understand the fears, but firearms and churches don't mix. Tell that to the white supremacists. Tell that to them. Tell that to them that supermarkets and guns don't mix. Tell them that schools and guns don't mix. Golly. Tone deaf. And I'm old enough and grown enough to address it and say it. Go ahead, get mad at me, start writing editorials negative about me. I don't give a god doggone. I already talked about that. Guess who got sentenced to 4 months in prison? Steve Bannon.
Just saw it.
Steve Bannon, 4 months in prison. Steve Bannon, 4 months in prison. Just came out hot off the press. And then I'm going to talk about these 28 years. Steve Bannon. Hold on, my glasses. Has been sentenced former Trump political advisor Steve Bannon to 4 months incarceration and a $6,500 fine for criminal contempt of Congress. Good. The judge says he's prepared to let Bannon remain free while he appeals his convictions, as Bannon is unlikely to flee or pose a danger. Oh, really? He's unlikely to pose a danger to the community? Bannon flouted demands for documents and testimony from the panel investigating the January 6, 2021 attack at the U.S. Capitol. Lawmakers on the House Select Committee want to know why he said a day before the siege that, quote, all hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Oh, but he's no danger to the community. Federal prosecutors were seeking what they described as a severe penalty, 6 months in jail and a fine of $200,000. In court papers earlier this week, they said Bannon pursued a bad faith strategy of defiance and contempt. Bannon sat quietly. What? Bannon sat quietly? Let me rewind that. And did not react as asked. U.S. District Judge Carl Nicholas delivered the sentence. Bannon. Bye-bye, Bannon. 28 years. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this road of 28 years. First of all, I believe I'm one of the most blessed pastors in the world. I'm so grateful for True Bethel Baptist Church. I am grateful for so many families that have been here. A lot of people don't realize I'm not the founder of True Bethel. True Bethel is as old as I am. And there were people, incredible people, who held True Bethel together through some really tough times. I got here 28 years ago. I tell it every year. By the same way when Muslims get up and they acknowledge Allah, they acknowledge whoever their leader is, whoever whatever portion of leadership they have. I think it's so important to always tell the story. So that people know that it was Arlene Motley Spells who gave a card to Tessie Brock when True Bethel was looking for a pastor. And I was like, I ain't going to pastor. I never wanted to be a pastor. Nah, I did not want to be a pastor. And if God would give me a career now and I didn't have so many people depending on me, I would I'd find another career tomorrow that I never have to go outside of the house. I just give me a check. Let me answer the phone at home But I came here, I was 30 years old, something like that. And when they asked me I said I'd come and just help for 6 months. And I remember Albert Swain called me to his house, and I just said it the day before. And he said, I got a question. He said, I've been praying about it. Would you come help us for 6 months? I knew that was the hand of God, but I only planned on staying here 6 months. Only planned on staying here 6 months. It is now, that's the longest 6 months ever, 28 years. It has been a beautiful road. Like I love True Bethel. I absolutely, I meet so many people who have pastored and go like, I'm burnt out. I don't want to pastor. I can't say I haven't had burnout seasons or days, but as far as regretting being the pastor of True Bethel, not even a little bit. And I remember pastors saying to me, when I first started pastoring, they would say stuff like, you on your honeymoon right now. And 28 years later, I can still say I'm on my honeymoon. I can still say that I don't regret coming to the office, that I don't regret coming to church on Sunday, that I don't regret the works that the Lord has allowed us to do. But here's some really tough days. And I remember, especially when I spent all the money. I spent all of our money to buy this building. Every dime that was in the bank. When I tell you I stepped out on faith and just had great people who supported me. When we bought this building from auction, and I asked we only had I think then we might have had 5, 6 trustees or deacons or whatever. And this building was going up auction. We had tried to buy other stuff. And I asked them for a check. I forgot the amount. $4,000, $6,000. That was it. That was the kitty. That was it. And I asked them for that as a deposit in case I got the bid. Lo and behold, this is how I know it was God. The amount that I needed was the exact amount of the check. And this is no joke. The amount, Rashid will tell you, Deacon Swain will tell you, Herb Moss will tell you, it was the exact amount. And we had, man, we were struggling. And we couldn't get a bank loan to do the building. We couldn't get a bank loan to finish paying for the building, okay? We could not get a bank loan. The banks were basically laughing at us. Like, I know I got this letter of one bank who wrote that basically we had made a big mistake in buying it, that the size of our congregation and that our income, that there is no way that we could sustain a mortgage. No way that we could sustain it. And I can just remember so many nights of, young pastor and worrying about all I kept thinking, you about to be the laughing stock of this city. Because you just brought a huge building from your little building and you don't have the money. And banks ain't lining up. And right now the church is getting ready to go into fasting and praying for some things. But I just remember proclaiming a fast, calling a fast, and we just believed God. And I had people around me who had more faith than I did, to be very honest. And they had more faith, not only in God, but they had more faith in me than what I had. And I just remember Rashid, Wyatt, and Jan, just being so like, oh, we gonna do this, and I'm like, in the back of my head, like, oh, okay, and but I believed God. And I remember when Rashid went to the bank to get the first loan, when we finally did get a loan, and the amount that he was going to apply for, and I'm like, see, they ain't going to do it. And I remember it was on a Wednesday night Bible study. And Rashid said, did you go in your office yet? And I was like, no. And he's like, go in your office. Something is on your desk. And on my desk was the letter for the first loan to basically close the gap and to buy the building. And it was for what he asked for. So it was like, oh my God. So now that meant we got this loan that we got to pay back. But, you know, the church has started to grow, but still we wasn't swimming in no dough. And I said, let's do this. Let's get the front painted and get the door painted and put up a sign. Just put up a temporary sign, future home at True Bethel. And he said, why do you want to do that? I said, because I want them to see where we're on our way to. I want them to see where we're on our way to. And I remember we put up the sign. I remember the help of Mayor Mazziello to clean up the lot, and members. We had nothing. And we were out here doing it all. You know, I'm on the floor. I still got my little suit that I wore, my little blue suit. We're on the floor scraping up towels that we probably shouldn't have been. We were doing all kinds of stuff to at least get in the building. And then Clark Eaton comes along, construction work, had his own construction company, daughter Tanya, who's a member, and he was like, I'm going to help y'all. I'm going to help you. And he did. And he got me my own hard hat that I still have, and taught me and helped me through the process. And I remember I knew I was working at the post office and doing church. I had stopped teaching school by then, and I just remember the Lord saying, "You gotta do this. Like you can't do post office. You can't do a 9 to 5 like that." And I didn't listen. I didn't listen because we ain't had no money. Shucks, I was thinking by that time. I don't think I was still putting in more than I was getting, but basically. I was, whatever I was putting in was my little salary. And so I knew I had to go full time. And I always tell the story how he wasn't a bishop then, but Bishop Badger was at the church. He was speaking for something that we had. And we were in the social hall that we had built over at 491. And I said to him, and I didn't know him that well, I said, you know, I feel like a call to go full time. And I said, but I'm just afraid. And I said, I see guys like you, you know, da, da. And he said to me, you can't preach faith and not walk by faith. That was, it was so powerful that I have never forgot that statement that he said to me. You can't preach faith and not walk by faith. And so I still didn't listen, and was going up to, I was still working at the post office, going up to my office in Rochester in a government car. Hit a patch of ice. The brake lights or something, the anti-brake lights started flashing, and I went up under the truck and out of a truck and under a truck and out of a truck. Was off on sick leave for a while. And when I got released to go back to work, I went in and quit. And cold turkey, went in and quit. And the postmaster was impressed with my work. He got my file, wrote in something and turned it around to me, and it basically said that if I ever wanted to work back for the post office, I should be highly considered. I'm thankful to God that I never had to take him up on it. I took a contract for a little while investigating EEO complaints, but I never went back to the 9 to 5 over there. It was tough. I literally had to sometime borrow off of my credit card to pay off other credit cards. And it was tough going, but True Bethel never let me fall. And the only reason I wasn't making more money, it wasn't because they didn't want to pay me more money. It was because I wanted so bad to get in this building. I wanted so bad to get in this building that until we opened the doors, that was the first significant raise that I got. And I'm grateful that today, with going through the mortgages, that today True Bethel has basically no debt. No, we don't go out and just spend money or charge up stuff. We try to live within our means. We live with our means, and now we are on the. COVID just robbed us of so much. It robbed us of time. It robbed us of projects. And right before COVID, we were talking about building, and then during COVID, we got all the building plans ready. And then, of course, everybody knows after COVID, everything went sky high. All of the steel that we need for the new structure, sky high. The glass, sky high. And so we began meeting with the architect, with the builder, to try to downsize some things. And Deacon Swain, who has been here from day one, he was here before I was. The Swain family, one of the founding families of the church, are still here. And I'm going to say this, and I'll say it publicly, because a lot of times in church, when you have a founding family at the church, they want to run the church. And it's nothing like that here. It is nothing. All they want to do is serve. All they want to do is serve, and they're so thankful that their church is doing well. But he came in my office a few weeks ago, and he knew that I was trying to cut back on some stuff. And again, hear these words like Bishop Badger said to me about you can't preach faith and not walk by faith. He didn't say those words to me, but he said, just have faith. Let's just go for it. Just have faith. And so here I am 28 years later and still needing to walk by faith, still needing to say, okay, God, this is me and you. And last night Bible study was just so powerful. It was just so powerful. And we had a visitor, Alan Core, was here. And at the end, I asked him to pray. And then he began to kind of speak to me without even knowing some of the things that have been in my mind. And I believe God. I mean, 28 years later, this church, you can say whatever you want to about True Bethel, but if you say we are not effective, we've done nothing in the community, you really, either you don't know or you just hating. That's all. And I'm bragging on True Bethel, not on me, but I am bragging that when I walk, and I mean godly bragging, because it's all by the grace of God. But when I drive in and I see workers, volunteers over at the food pantry, and they're working to put food on people's table every week. When I ride past and I see the clothing pantry where people don't have to worry about being cold or getting a coat, and those type of things, because we've got it over there. When I ride past the area and I see the seniors sitting outside from the apartment building that was put up, when I see homeowners down the street, and then when we go further down the street and we see a store that people can go in that True Bethel funded, when I'm talking on a radio show that True Bethel allowed me to help finance because it was an African-American woman doing her thing. When I go down Michigan Street and see the windows in the church there that True Bethel, you keep hearing me say True Bethel, help fund until they could get their grant. When I can just keep going on and on and on and on. The townhouses, when I go to Niagara Falls and I see 39 new units of affordable housing about to be opened in Niagara Falls, that's the hand of God. But here is the greatest accomplishment ever. It is not the houses. It is not the building. It's none of that. It is the lives that are changed. It is especially, I have a heart for, especially young men who have never had a man in their life, and they come to that altar and their lives change. That to me is the ultimate part of my job, is the creation of a place in which the one who dresses up the most and the one who dresses down can be in one place and not feel odd or crazy, a place where black people and white people come to worship, a place where people who don't even speak English end up coming in to worship, a place that you are not judged and you are not. Now there might be individuals in the pew who do, but we as an organization, we don't do that to you. And so to be here 28 years later and to still be functioning, 28 years and after COVID, and for us to still have 4 services in 3 churches in 2 different cities on 3 different sides of town, and people still come to have, these are things that it doesn't normally happen like that. So it has to be the hand of God. And I always want to remind myself, and I always want to remind True Bethel, that really we haven't done anything. It's all been the hand of God. And so we're going to celebrate tomorrow in a little, what they call it, band and brunch.
Brunch and band.
And it's something I wanted to just celebrate with friends, and because I consider the people of True Bethel and many of you my brothers and my sisters. And then Sunday we're going to be in all 3 of our services. I asked Bishop Brown from Mount Ararat to do the early service, and I'm going to tell you why. I heard him preach Pastor McClellan's eulogy, and it was probably one of the most touching eulogies I ever heard in my life for a pastor. And I called him and I said, Bishop, can you come on October 23rd? It's my birthday. Can you come and preach the sermon you preached at the eulogy for Pastor McClellan? And he said, are you serious? You want me to preach the eulogy? I said, because he talked about the life of a pastor and the expectations of a pastor, and how sometimes people can just expect so much. People expect more from the pastor than they do from God. Yep. And I asked him, and he said, well, it's my birthday too. So happy birthday, but he's coming in the 7:45. This sermon, you don't want to miss. Mark, remind me, I got to get a light. He needs a light on the podium. Yep. So this sermon you just don't want to miss. And then, so everybody's been handpicked. Then the 10 o'clock, I asked my son to preach. And the reason is he held down Niagara Falls when I sent him out to Niagara Falls. He wasn't thrilled in the beginning, but he's just done such a great job connecting with people in the falls. And what a lot of people don't realize, Craig goes to almost every service and then goes to Niagara Falls to preach. And so I'm honored for him to be in the 10 o'clock, and for Vicki Winans, who's going to minister in the 10 o'clock and the 11 o'clock. And that was Craig and the whole team did that, and I didn't realize why. I've shared on this show that, I had my mausoleum inscribed, and I wanted it inscribed before my birthday. And the saying that I put on there was "safe in his arms." I didn't realize that was Vicki Winans singing "Safe in His Arms." I just love the song. And so she'll be with us at our 10 o'clock. And we were going to have her just at the 11 o'clock, but then the 10 o'clock people got a little jealous. So she's going to be at our 10 o'clock and our 11 o'clock. And then I asked Pastor Dwayne to come back from Atlanta and preach the 11 o'clock. I'm going to tell you why. There was a period that he was very angry at me, and I'm very okay in saying this. And then he came back like a son. He came back like a man and publicly apologized, and then stayed by my side until he left Buffalo. And I have so much respect for that, because true family, real family, you might not get along all the time, but if you real family, you always come back to family. And so to me, I have respect for a man who apologizes, a man who clung right by my side. And so we're going to let him come and praise the hell out of the situation, because that's his thing. And so I'm looking forward to this weekend. I got a couple announcements I got to make. Shuki sent me something that I want to announce. Let me go to this page right quick, because now I'm out of Facebook. I got to go back into Facebook. We got all these gadgets, and Let me see. Shuki. Remember I used to call her Chucky because I didn't know. All right, here we go. Glasses, everybody, glasses. What's up, peeps? It's your boy, King of Awesome. For my 14th birthday, I'm hosting a Christmas toy drive for children with autism. Let me see if I can make that better. Last year, we served over 100 families. Drop off new toys October 24th, the day after my birthday, to November 18th at the UPS store on Harlem Road. Or you can go to kingofawesome.com. That's KingOfAusome.com for our Amazon registry and monetary donations. I think I'm going to do the Amazon registry because I know I'm not going to Walmart and buy no toy and take it. I know. I'm going to say I will and I won't do it. I'm going to forget to do it. So you could drop off stuff at the UPS store or visit kingofawesome.com. And that's awesome, AUSOME. Also, for you pet lovers out there, free canine vaccine clinics is going to happen with SPCA here at True Bethel on October 26th, 11 to 2, and November 16th, 11 to 2. Both vaccine clinics will be held right here at the 907 location. There is no appointment needed. Calling all seniors, our annual Senior Citizens Halloween party sponsored by the Ellicott District. And it's not for the Ellicott District, it's for any district. So it's really, as Common Council President, we're sponsoring the annual Citizens Halloween party. Thank you, Kerry. I give him all the credit because he does all the work. It'll be October 31st, 11 a.m. We are back in costume and back in person. You must RSVP. Because it's limited, and we pack out the Y. 845-5440, 845-5440. Prizes, of course, for the first, second, and third costume, and part of the catering is done by Texas Roadhouse. Love those rolls. Aetna, Humana, and Centers Healthcare are sponsors. So we got a lot going on in our city. I hope to see you Sunday. I think I've closed out everything. I talked about everything that I needed to talk about today, on today. You know, there's people in church say on today.
Super deep.
Huh?
Makes you sound super deep.
It does it when you say on today. Okay, I'm going to tell this, then we're going to throw it over to the station. I was listening to a comedian the other day. He was talking about how pastors, like, when you don't have a lot of people in church, and you waiting for somebody to walk in, like you know, two people in church, and you waiting for that fourth one for Bible study or something. And he was talking about how, like, the old school pastor used to be like, they're coming in. We're going to wait a few more minutes. That's how it used to be. When I got to True Bethel, I think they might have started 11:30 or something like that. And they would be like, well, we got to wait for Sister Brock. She always a little late. I said, listen, we're going to wait for Sister Brock this week, but we ain't waiting for Sister Brock next week. Sister Brock started getting there on time.
Absolutely. And you know the other thing, then they start tarrying. Lord, if you just send them in. That's what they do.
Send them in. We tarrying. Hey, let me thank Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. 3 locations to serve you this week. They serve the Harvey family, Harvey Caesar, Lewis, and the James family. At 3 locations to serve you. That's in your hour of need. That's Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. Hobson's the Dr. Dry Cleaning, 874 East Delavan. Take it. Let's get those summer clothes over there so they're ready for next summer. It's time for you to go in the attic, go in the basement, bring out don't let this day fool you. The Mother Nature is on the way back with a vengeance, I believe.
Get those winter coats.
Get
clean.
the winter. Get it ready. Wednesday, our clothing pantry located at 273 Kurt is open 10 to 2, and our food pantry 594 Winslow 11 to 2. Just come. Yeah, either one at 11. Yeah. Anybody, I'm going to be forgetting them dates. Hey, I'm getting ready to send you back over to the station. Until next week, power to the people.